The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good morning, afternoon, evening. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 18th day of December. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas with a week to go. So, to finish out our 2025 Retro Sports Network calendar, we will do this is the first of four hockey games that we'll do King of the Hill until we get to the 86 baseball replay. So today you get my choice for King of the Hill, the 78 to 82 New York Islanders, winners of, I think in this bunch, 3 of their 4 Stanley Cups. And of course, the Islander dynasty would go on to win 19 straight postseason series, a record I don't think you will ever see matched in any sport ever again. And so we let Barb decide who the Islanders would play, and I knew that she would go with a Rangers squad, but I thought she would go with the Messier era Cup winners that is on site, as we'll talk about in a few minutes. Instead, she went with the Jean Rattel, Rod Gilbert, and Brad Park era New York Rangers, the 68 to 72. A special thanks before we go to the game itself to Steve Tate, who is allowing us to stream his 5-year slices of teams. These are all homebrews that he's done of that, and so it is the Rangers and the Islanders from Steve Tate stuff, and Steve does a lot of draft league stuff and slices from, I believe he now has all 4 sports. I know we've showed off the baseball a couple years ago. So thanks to him for letting us show us off, and thanks to you for all you've watched. And now, let's get to it. The Islanders and the Rangers from Uniondale. Next! Oops, as I drop things as Retro Sports Network presents King of the Hill 25 from Uniondale, Long Island in New York. It is the New York Islanders and the New York Rangers in the first of our 4 King of the Hill games. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation replay needs. Find Dave, Vinny, and Joe on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And so here we go, 77 to 81 New York Islanders and 68 to 72 New York Rangers. So a 5-year slice of these teams. Here are the starters for both teams. I will be coaching the Islanders. It'll be John Tonelli at center, Brian Trottier on the left, Mike Bossy, oh my God, 66 goals, 67 assists on the right. Denny Potvin and Dave Lewis are your starting defenders for the Islanders, and it's Chico in the net for New York, or for the Islanders. For the Rangers, Jean Rattel is at center, Vic Hadfield on the left wing, Rod Gilbert and his violent world of professional hockey on the right wing, Jim Nielsen, the left defender, Arnie Brown, the right defender, and Eddie Jacquemin is in net. And although the goals against average is pretty similar, 253 for Chico and 246 for Eddie, the save percentage might be the big difference here. Eddie's save percentage at 86 and Glenn's at 911. So the face-off at center, Rattel and Trotz, they don't quite shake hands. Here we go. Face-off won by the Rangers. The Islanders have it. Rangers dump it down. Here come the Islanders. Tonelli to Trottier, the Bossy. Boy, that looks awful small. Bossy with a slapper, and that is saved by Giacomin. Here come the Rangers the other way. Hatfield skates it out to Gilbert. Gilbert, he fires it on the net wide, and Bossy will have it. And I got to make sure that my players don't get too tired. We'll give him one more rush. Behind the net, here comes Tonelli. Cross-ice pass, and that is icing. So, not quite sure what's going on here. Oh, I can't change lines. And you know what? I think our gaming is screwed up here. So we're going to start this one again because that's not where your face-off is supposed to be. Sometimes this game can get quite frustrating. Why are we not responding? All right, can we do this now? Can we do this now? All right, same lineups as before. So Rattel and Trottier have warmed up, and here we go. And if this screws up, then we won't be doing King of the Hill for hockey, at least not in Action PC. Face-off is won by the Islanders. Tonelli going to shoot high. Trottier in front of Jacquemin. The shot, and Eddie makes the save, and we'll have a face-off. Tkachuk and Tonelli on the face-off. No changes for the Islanders. Rangers, Tkachuk, Balloon, and Fairbairn, the forwards, with Brad Park and Sealing on the ice for the Rangers defensively. Islanders will draw it forward. Tonelli and Tkachuk on the face-off. Won by the Islanders. Lewis behind the net. Tries to feed Bossy up. Bossy close. Point-blank range, and Eddie makes the save, and we'll get another face-off here. So 2 quick shots from the Islanders in the opening minute. Rangers change up again. Marshall with Nevin and Irvine, the wings. Park and Sealing stay out there. We will change the forwards probably the next rush through. Islanders will draw it forward. Trotz and Marshall on the face-off. Won by Bossy. Bossy behind the net. Who's he? Bossy going to do a wraparound. Bossy on Jacquemin. He shoots. Eddie with a save. How about that for Sealing? And out come the Rangers. Park clears it all the way down. That will be an icing. And we will change up for the Islanders. Rangers cannot change. Go Isles. How you doing, Steve? So Gilly, Andres Kahlur with Clark Gillies and Bobby Nystrom on the wings. With Kenny Morrow and Bob Lormer on defense for the Islanders. For the Rangers, it is Marshall, Irvine, and Nevin, the forwards, with Park and Sealing on defense. Kahlur and Marshall face off in front of Jacquemin. Won by Morrow. Morrow, he has a shot. He's the best option. He'll fire it on the net. Blocked by Park. Here come the Rangers the other way. They dump it down. Gillies for the Islanders to Bobby Nystrom. Rangers haven't done anything so far in this game. Nystrom winds and fires, and Jacquemin will hang on. Abdamarco's on the ice. Sean's cousin. No, it's not. For the Rangers. No changes for the Islanders. Ballone, Tkachuk, and Fairbairn for the Madison Square Garden people, with Rolfe, R-O-L-F-E, and DeMarco on defense. This has been all New York Islanders so far. They have 4 shots to none. How you doing, Andy? We'll let Andy determine who the winner of this game will play in tomorrow's stream. Face-off won by the Rangers. Fairbairn skates it over, but he comes across offside. I wonder, oops, it's not going to let me. We don't have, can't show you the Bruins teams. But think about it. What era you'd like, and we'll have them, we'll do whatever. So Rattel and Kahlur, we are going to, no changes for the Islanders. First line on for the Rangers. Jean Rattel and Andres Kahlur on the face-off just outside the Islander zone. Won by the Islanders, Morrow, but he comes across as offside, and we will change up Bob Bourne with Mike Koziski and Billy Harris, the forwards. Morrow and Lorimer will stay out there for the Islanders. Tkachuk, Fairburn, and Ballin for the Rangers with Rolfe and DeMarco. Face off just outside the Ranger zone, won by the Rangers. Fairburn to Rolfe, and this should be the first shot of the game for the Rangers. He shoots, and that misses everything. Bourne has it behind the net. Islanders skated out the other way. Lorimer trying to decide what he wants to do. His best option is to shoot. He will fire from the blue line. Bourne trying to screen Giacomin. Lorimer goes low and scores! That's a goal! Bob Lorimer, who only had 2 goals, gets one here from Mike Koziski and Bob Bourne at 3:57 of the first period. And that's how this King of the Hill will start. My word. So line changes. It'll be Butch Goring, the Sutter, and Gary Howitt, forwards for the Islanders. Rattel, Hatfield, and Gilbert for the Rangers. There's no replay? I thought there was a replay. There is. Here it is again. Goring just with a good screen, and Giacomin was just taken, his peripheral vision was just taken off enough that you got a score from the defenseman. All this firepower for the Islanders, and it's Bob Lorimer who scores. Goring and Rattel at center. Face-off is won by Rattel. Over to Hadfield. Back over to Brown. Brown from the right face-off circle. Hadfield tried to put the screen. Can't do it. Rattel now to Gilbert. Delayed penalty coming up on the Islanders. Brown through traffic. That misses everything, and Langevin gets called for the cross-check and the rough. And the Rangers, with 15:23 to go in the first period, have a 4-minute power play. Yep. I'm assuming you're going to want the Bruins. If not, let me know. So 4 minutes. Kahlur and Henning come out. Lauren Henning for the Islanders to defend, along with Potvin and Person. Rangers power play. Tkachuk, Nevin, and Ballone to start it, with Nielsen and Sealing on the defense. Face-off won by Henning, and the Islanders will clear it out to center. Ballone now to Walt Tkachuk to Nevin. Nevin. They still haven't put a shot on the Chico yet. They do now, and Chico will hold on. And we took 45 seconds off the power play. Rattel, Gilbert, and Hatfield up the forwards now for the Rangers. No changes for the Islanders. Islanders hope to clear. Face-off won by Kahlur, and they dump it all the way down. Goring and Bourne come on as the forwards for the Islanders. Rangers skated up. Rattel to Hadfield. Hadfield trying to hope for a deflection. And that misses everything. Now Brad Park has it behind the net. Park skates around. Fires one at Chico, and he will make the save. So we've played 90 seconds of the power play. Lewis and Lorimer come on, the goal scorer for the Islanders. Tkachuk, Ballone, and Nevin for the Rangers. Both the Rangers' shots have come on the power play. Islanders play to clear. Tkachuk and Goring on the face-off. Won by the Rangers. Nevin tries to do a wraparound, and that is deflected. Sealing's got it. Sealing passes it to Nielsen. Back to Sealing. He tries for the low shot. Goring with a block over to Bourne. And the Islanders cleared all the way out. So they've killed the first 2 minutes, and at 2.5 minutes of this power play, Rangers, no real scoring chances. Trottier and Westfall come on the ice for the Islanders. Nielsen, the other way, in the Islander zone. Nielsen from Sealing tries the shot, In traffic, nope, that is out of the zone to center. Now Rattel's line comes out. Rattel, Hadfield, blocked by Lormer. Rattel's got it over to Nielsen. Nielsen tries to work the shot. Chico gets it and makes the save. So we'll have a face-off here. Rattel versus Trottier. Hart and Marshall come on the ice for the Islanders as they continue to kill off this long power play. Trotz wants to clear it if they win it. And they do. He won it, skipped it down to Jerry Hart, and Brad Park will skate it out the other way. 25 seconds to go in the double minor to Langevin. Hadfield. Rangers trying to get something going here. Hadfield to Gilbert. Gilbert has a scoring chance. Chico gives up the rebound. Hadfield has it. Down to Brown. Brown trying to get a shot off. Chico pad save to Eddie Westfall. And the Islanders skate it out. And there's a hit in the Hadfield. In his frustration, took it out on Jerry Hart. And Hadfield goes to the sin bin for 4 minutes. How you doing, AP? So the Islanders will go on the power play. Gillies, Goring, and Kallur to start. With Potvin and Person, Fairburn and Stewart killing it for the Rangers. With Nielsen and Brown. Poor Barb. This is not the start the Rangers were thinking of. Shots are 5 aside with 10:54 to go in the first period. 1-0 Islanders. You're back. It was a bad signal. Oh, I feel like Batman. Goring and Stewart on the face-off. It is won by the Rangers, and they dump it all the way down. Person to Kallur. Kallur to Person. Person sees Gillies. Mid-shot. Gillies. Between the circles. Jacquemin with a rebound. Over to Gillies. Gillies kicks it out to Potvin at the half wall. Potvin. Long slapper blocked by Stewart. That wasn't even close. Kallur's got it. Kallur going to try to wrap around himself on Jacquemin. Anders Kallur. Jacquemin gets the stick down. Kicks it out to Person. Person. Cross ice to Potvin. Blue line special blocked by Nielsen. Gillies has it. Clark behind the net. Tries to center one to Goring. Goring a wrister. Jacquemin again with the save. And the Rangers clear. Minute and a half gone in the power play. Islanders change up. They've had 3 shots on the power play. Bert Marshall has it. Over to John Tonelli. Tonelli to Nystrom. Nystrom aiming low. Brown with the block. Nystrom has it. Nystrom behind the net. Tries to feed Tonelli at the left wing. Tonelli being pressured. He'll shoot. That's blocked. Wayne Merrick has it. Merrick behind the net. Merrick sees an opening for a wraparound on Jacquemin. And Merrick, saving a rebound. Lewis has it. What a fantastic save by Eddie Jacquemin. Even this crowd here in Uniondale was oohing and on over that. Lewis, you don't want him shooting, but there's no one else open. So he will take the shot. Hopes for a rebound. Merrick there to tie him up, and Jacquemin just gloves it. So 8:40 to go for opening period, 1:46 to go, and the Hadfield double minor. Islanders have 5 shots. But not much to show. So Bourne, Trottier, and Bossy, along with Potvin and Person, going against Nevin McGregor, who hasn't been on the ice yet. Seelig and Park. Face off in the Ranger zone. Won by the Rangers, and they ice it. Person with $1.27 on the power play. And a Bourne. Bourne skates it over to Bossy. Bossy going to cause some nightmares with that shot. And Jacquemin stands tall, makes the glove save, and there's 1:04 to go. AP just finished his 70-71 Habs against the Red Wings using 4th Street for the PC. The game uses actual lineups and starting goalies. The game ended just in a tie, just like real life. I'm surprised because the Wings weren't that great, and that's the year that the Canadians stole the cup. Bourne and McGregor on the face-off. No, we will not have Person. We'll play Eddie Westfall and Jerry Hart. Westfall not known. Well, Westfall could play on the point. Bourne and McGregor on the face-off. Trottier, I'm sorry, won by the Rangers. Nevin has it the other way to McGregor. Short-handed bid blocked by Hart. They give it up. 23 seconds. Last rush of the power play. Islanders change. Goring into the Ranger zone. Over to Eddie Westfall. Westfall with a wrister. That misses wide to the left. The Rangers have killed the power play. Gillies has the puck. They will pass it around to Eddie Westfall. Westfall will take the long shot. Kallur trying to disturb Jockerman. Kallur deflected wide. Westfall's got it. It goes out to center, and I'm sure everyone will change up at this point. Islanders change. Kachuk has it for the Rangers. Gives it away. Here come the Islanders on a rush. Trottier and Bossy. Bossy all by himself on Jockerman. Shoots. Eddie with a save and a hold. Eddie has stood tall. Shots 12-5 in favor of the Islanders. Kaczynski, Bourne, and Harris on the line forwards for the Islanders, with Morrow and Lorimer. For the Rangers, Rattel, Gilbert, Hadfield, Brown, and Nielsen on the ice. So Bourne and Kaczynski will take the face-off, draws it forward, won by the Rangers. Gilbert skates it into the zone, over to Brown. Brown, a one-timer, and Chico got a pad on it and makes the save. That's the first even-strength shot for the Rangers. 5:13 to go in the first period. No changes for the Islanders. McGregor, Russo, and Glenn Sather on the ice for the Rangers, along with Park and Sealing. McGregor and Bourne on the face-off. That is won by the Islanders. Here comes Kaczynski. Kaczynski, cross-ice pass to Billy Harris. Harris shoots. Jockerman with a save. The wrister and Eddie caught that one easy. 4:50 to go. 1-0 Islanders. No changes for Islanders. Rattel, Gilbert, and Hadfield line. One for the Rangers. Bourne and Rattel on the face-off, won by the Islanders. Harris behind the net, no one open. Islanders will cycle the puck. Harris has it again. This time he'll go to Bob Bourne. Bourne between the dots. Bourne low on the ice. Jockerman sees it all the way, shuffles it off to Rattel, and I'm sure we'll have some changes here. Islanders change up. Rangers dump and chase into the zone, and that is an icing against the Rangers. 3:50 to go, first period. 1-0 Islanders. So Goring versus Rattel here on the face-off. Howitt and Sutter, it's only their second time they've been on the ice. Jerry Hart and Langevin on defense. Rolfe and DeMarco, the defensive pairing for the Rangers. How you doing, Barb? So I should explain why we weren't on yesterday. So Tuesday, I was getting into the chair, and my eyes were closed for whatever reason, and I literally bumped heads with my wife. Not in an argumentative way, in any way stretch of the imagination, but we literally did play Coco Bump. And boy, did that hurt. And so yesterday I just had a mild headache. No, I did lose consciousness, and we're both fine and all that. Still crazy as ever. So that's where we were yesterday. So the one goal came from Lormer from the Islanders. Goring and Rattel on the face-off. To the left to Jockerman, won by the Rangers. Hatfield skates it in the zone. Over to Rattel. Quick pass, one time. That is deflected off the stick of Chico Resch and out of play. 3:29 to go. Rangers change up again. Islanders happy with who they got. Tkachuk and Goring on the ice. Yeah, no, I mean, it was just one. I mean, I don't know how people do it. We both, despite the fact that we were in close proximity to each other, never saw it. Yet we were in the concussion protocol together. Tkachuk and Goring on the faceoff, won by the Rangers. Fairburn to Brown. What can Brown do for you? Chico gets it, steers it out over to Fairburn. Fairburn to Nielsen. Nielsen, quick shot. Chico with a save over to Langevin. Chico with a great save. And it will be, who's got the puck? Langevin. So Islander puck. And they will bring on their first line. Hart dumps it around for Potvin. Over to Bossy. Bossy with a rocket. That misses wide to the left. Here come the Rangers. Nielsen has it. 2:23 to go, first period. Fairburn skates over to Nevin. Gives it away. Gives it away now to Lewis. And now the Rangers have a rush the other way. Bossy lost control. Here's Nevin. Nevin, breakaway on Chico. Oh, and Chico makes the save. Irvine and Tonelli wish each other a Merry Christmas. With 95 seconds to go, we got a face-off. So Gillies, Kahlua, and Nystrom line on for the Islanders. McGregor, Sather, and Russo, who just passed away, as a matter of fact, on for the Rangers. Kahlua and McGregor to the right of Chico. Face-off won by the Islanders. Nystrom skates it over to Kahlua. Kahlua throws it into traffic. Jockerman gives up the rebound. Back to Kahlua. Kahlua behind the net. He can't do the wraparound. He tries to feather one out to Potvin. Then he shoots, blocked by Park. Russo's got it. Here come the Rangers. Bobby Russo in the offensive zone. Russo to Sather. And the shot, Russo tries to jam it in. Bobby Nystrom is being held from the ice. He's holding his elbow. 53 seconds to go. Harris is on the ice for the Islanders. There's a face-off. Won by the Rangers. Sealing tries a long-distance wrister, and Chico will hold on. 44 seconds to go. Face-offs 50-50. Who are we doing? We're going to go with Howitt Goring and Eddie Westfall. There's no picture of Eddie Westfall? That's interesting. Morrow and Lorimer, the goal scorer, on the ice for the Islanders. Rattel versus Goring on the face-off. Won by the Islanders. Here comes Lorimer over to Goring. Goring tries to get past Rattel. Shoots it wide right. Gilbert to Rattel. 22 seconds to go. Gilbert has it. Gilbert tries to reach around. No. Trying to jam it in. Islanders clear. Lorimer. And that's the end of the period after the whistle. So some Christmas cheers spread between the Rangers and the Islanders. You're going to get a commercial after 20 minutes. It's the Islanders 1, the Rangers nothing on King of the Hill 25. It's a warm day here, too, but they're calling for 50, mid-50s in the morning here tomorrow and heavy winds and rain. And then it's all supposed to freeze up. First period, 1-0 Islanders. The lone goal came from Lormer, from Kaziski and Bourne at 3:57. Only a couple penalties. Both teams had 4-minute power plays and couldn't do anything with it. Langevin, a cross-check in a rough at 4:37 for the Islanders. And Vic Hadfield was called for a 4-minute rough at 9:06. Shots 50-12 in favor of the Islanders. And both teams technically 0 for 2 on the power play. So first line's on for both teams. Face off won by the Islanders. Bossy over to Tonelli, and Tonelli gets called for the hook. Ooh, so Tonelli gets called for 2 minutes at 18 seconds of the second period. And the Rangers go on the power play. Couture and Henning, the forwards for the Islanders, with Potvin and Person. Rattel, Gilbert, and Hadfield, the forwards for the Rangers, with Park and Brown on defense. The sun is out in Pennsylvania, 40 degrees, and then the rains and the winds tomorrow. And no, there's no such good things as ice, except for this. Rattel and Henning on the face-off in front of Chico, and it's won by the Islanders and immediately cleared. Hadfield will have it. 20 seconds off the clock on that power play. Hadfield skates it over the line to Brad Park. Park, a low, heavy slapper that misses left. It is controlled by Park again. Park, looking for help, tries to get it through the screen. That is blocked by Couture. Back to Brad Park. Third bite of the cherry for Brad. That time it doesn't even make the net. Denny Potvin with the block. Over to Gilbert. Gilbert to Rattel. Rattel behind the net to Ab Brown. Brown with a shot. Chico finally makes a save. Dumps it over to Person. And the Islanders, with 27 seconds to go, will clear it. And they give it away at center ice. They couldn't clear it in time. Hadfield. Now Tonelli gets out of the box. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. They're tired. They're going to set it up. Henning. 1-on-1 with Jacquemin. Scores! Lauren Henning, are you kidding me? Wow. So Andres Couture, that was a feed out of the box after the penalty was over. Tonelli will not get an assist. He fed Couture, Henning streaking to the goal, and with Bossy and Gillies and Trottier and all that for the Islanders, the 2 goals have been from Lormer and Henning. Okay. So first line out there again for New York. Tonelli, Trottier, and Bossy, along with Morrow and Lorimer. For the Rangers, Tkachuk, Malone, and Fairburn, with DeMarco and Rolfe. And Barb is writing to the bosses to say this wasn't fair. They were supposed to win. Shot 16-13 in favor of the Islanders. Trotz and Tkachuk on the faceoff, won by the Islanders. Tonelli in possession. What's he going to do? They're going to cycle it over to Bossy. Bossy behind the net will feed Lorimer and the puck is jammed along the boards, and we will have a face-off. 16:46 to go. No changes for the Islanders. Marshall, Irvine, and Nevin for the Rangers. This one's been all Islanders. Trottier and Marshall in the Ranger zone, won by Bossy. Bossy doesn't like what he sees. Islanders will cycle it around. Bossy still has it. Bossy still doesn't like what he sees. He'll cycle it the second time through. That's pretty rare. Bossy again. This time Tonelli breaks free. Feeds Tonelli along the short wall. Tonelli, low shot, blocked by Nielsen. Over to Brown, and the Rangers will skate it out. 15:50 to go in the second. Brown gives it away. There are some tired skaters Islanders change up. Tonelli. They won't be aggressive with it over to Kaziski. Kaziski. But behind Jacquemin. Rangers covering well. No one open. Over to Billy Harris. Harris. Kaziski slides past the defense. His wrister, as soon as I find the button, is easily saved by Jacquemin, and we'll get a face-off. 14:46 to go. Any other changes? No, we'll go with that. Rattel, Gilbert, and Hadfield on for the Rangers. Shot 17-13 in favor of the Islanders. We don't do a lot of hockey. Hopefully this sounds okay. Bourne and Rattel on the ice for the face-off. Won by the Islanders. Bourne doesn't like what he sees. Jerry Hart, not an offensive option, but however, he does have the puck. Are you kidding? He's going to shoot. Jerry, long-range shot. Harris hoping to get a deflection here. And Jacquemin just makes the easy save. 14:10 to go. In the second period, 2-0 Islanders. They've outshot the Rangers 18-13. And Butch Goring comes on the ice for the faceoff, this time against Tkachuk. Faceoff this time is won by the Rangers. Tkachuk to Fairburn. And there's going to be, oh my goodness, Denny Potvin gets called for a 4-minute high stick. You can see Tkachuk trying to bite his cheek to see if he can get a misconduct out of it to draw some blood. Potvin has a few words for Kerry Fraser on his way to the bench. And for the second time in this game, the Rangers have a 4-minute power play. Couture and Henning, the forwards for the Islanders, with Lewis in person. Tkachuk, Nevin, and Ballon on the ice for the Rangers with Nielsen and Sealing. Thanks there, AP. So Tkachuk and Henning on the faceoff. Rangers a 4-minute power play, won by the Islanders, and Henning clears it all the way down. That took 15 seconds. Here come the Rangers. Nielsen into the Islander zone, over to Nevin. Nevin hopes to go low. You got Tkachuk there for a deflection. Chico with a good save over to Ballin. Ballin now feeds Nielsen. Nielsen. Chico saw that one all the way, deflects it to Nevin, and they'll lose control, and Henning will clear it out as soon as I hit the right button. No, they give it away at center. Nielsen's got it. Nielsen skates over the line. Nielsen shoots. Chico with a save to Dave Lewis, and Glenn Resch makes another great save. Once again, the Islanders want to clear it. 2:45 in the double minor, and again, they can't clear it out. Nevins to Tkachuk. There's a whole bunch of mess of people through there. Person with a Ballin with a deflection, and they finally clear it to center. Nope, they can't make the change. Nielsen over to Ballon, back to Nielsen. Shoots. Chico gives up the rebound. Ballin, second by the cherry, wraparound shot. Again, another save. The Islanders are exhausted. The Rangers put a lot of pressure up, but Chico is the man. They've killed the first half of the power play off. 1:43 to go. Goring, Bourne, Westfield, and Lormer, Rattel, Gilbert, and Hadfield. My word. 5 shots for the Rangers. 10 of their 18 have been on power plays, but Chico has been the man. Face-off won by the Islanders. Westfall clears it all the way down, and Rattel will start the rush. 1:25 in the power play. Gilbert in the Islander zone feeds Park. Park, blue line special, kicked away by Bourne to Lorimer. Islanders hope to clear. They cannot. 37 seconds to go in the power play. Park from the dot winds and fires. As soon as I can find the mouse, Chico patiently waits, makes the save. Eddie Westfall has it. Eddie will clear it out all the way down. The Islanders are going to kill their second 4-minute power play of the game. Everyone changes up. Gilbert, dying seconds here over to Hadfield. Vic, cross-ice, one-timer, hit the post. Back over to Park. Potvin back on the ice. Chico gets leveled. Oh, he made the save and got cross-checked. And Jerry Hart had a few unkind words for anyone that wanted to listen. Halfway home here in game 1 of our 4-night King of the Hill special. It's the Islanders 2, the Rangers nothing. Wow. Yeah, Chico, I don't know. Chico, I don't know what soured them with him. Because as far as a regular season goalie is concerned, McGregor, Sather, and Russo, by the way, for the Rangers, with Rolf and DeMarco. You do this in Strat or 4th Street or whatever you want. Chico's going to be your primary guy. Billy Smith just kind of kicked it up for the playoffs. I mean, Billy Smith wins 4 cups and Chico ends up in Colorado. Trotz and McGregor on the face-off, won by the Rangers, keeping it in the zone. McGregor poked away by Bossy. Islanders in it out. Now here's Tonelli. Tonelli over to Bossy. Dumps it around. Bossy, one-timer Eddie's right there. Hart and Sather have a word. And they'll get 2 minutes for eating fruitcake at Christmas. So Sather and Hart have 2 minutes to think about what they did. Potvin and Lewis for the Islanders. On defense, Marshall, Irvine, and Nevin, who skated 11 minutes for the Rangers. Chico and the man. Now, Todd, that would be a Quinn Martin production, wouldn't it? Trottier and Marshall on the face-off, won by the Islanders. Bossy to Tonelli. Stolen by Teddy Irvine. Here come the Rangers. Marshall over in the zone to Nevin. Nevin put some wood on it. Chico makes the save. Potvins got it. Islanders skated out the other way. Bossy. Tonelli to Bossy. Bossy trying to skate it through. Jacquemin with the save. And again, Tonelli and Irvine have a few words. Everyone changes up. Tkachuk versus Bob Bourne on the face-off in front of Jacquemin. Won by Harris and the Islanders. Harris trying to feed Kaczynski. He cannot do it. Here comes Sealing the other way. To Fairburn into the Islander zone. Kicks it back to Sealing. He shoots through all sorts of traffic. I'm not sure Chico actually saw that puck. Here comes Kaczynski the other way. Chips it to Harris. To Kaczynski. Bourne between the dots. Bourne deflected by Tkachuk over to Fairburn. Rangers will be changing up. 6:52 to go in the second. Islanders make changes. Gilbert into the Islander zone to Rattel. Rattel doesn't have much of an angle. Out deflected by Gilbert, and Rest saw it all the way. Goring the other way. Goring gives it away. Gilbert with the steal. Rangers want to change. Here comes Brad Park. Park over the line to Nielsen. To Brown. Brown with Marshall trying to deflect it. That misses everything. Langevin has it for the Islanders. And the Islanders will change up. Langevin, it's a bad line change. Gilbert the other way to Irvine. At center, Irvine skates it in to Nielsen. Nielsen throws one on. Marshall trying to tip it past Resch. Couldn't get it. Potvin has it. 4:53 to go. Islanders send it the other way. Bossy to Trottier, and there's going to be a delayed penalty against the Rangers. Bossy with a slapper. Tonelli tries to deflect it. Teddy Irvine gets called for 4 minutes. Another 4-minute power play. The Rangers have had 2, and now the Islanders will have 2. Roger Nielsen goes to get a fresh stick. Gilling, Goring, and Couture, with Eddie Westfall and Jerry Hart for the Islanders. Stewart, DeMarco, Fairburn, and Rolfe for the Rangers. 23-20, believe it or not, 23-20 shots in favor of the Rangers. Goring and Stewart on the faceoff. Won by the Rangers. So Jerry Hart will start the rush the other way. It took 24 seconds. Gillies into the zone. Gillies to Couture. One-timer, misses wide right. DeMarco loses it to Gillies. Gillies behind the net. Feeds Couture down the half wall. Couture, one-timer. Jockerman gives up the rebound to Gillies. Gillies will feed Jerry Hart. Hart hoping for a rebound. Goring hanging around by the net. That misses everything. Gillies got it. Gave it up. And the Islanders, with 2:23 to go, will change up. And one shot almost halfway through. Trottier with the puck. Over to Bossy. Bossy to Person. Bourne screening Jockerman. Person with a shot. Jockerman holds on. 2:04 to go in the power play and 2:38 to go in the period. Islanders 2, Rangers nothing. And a surprisingly defensive affair. Islanders 0 for 3 in the power play, and the Rangers are 0 for 5. McGregor and Bourne on the Trottier in the faceoff. Trots to Bourne, over to Bossy. Bourne and Jockerman having a few words. Bossy shoots, and Jockerman saw it all the way. So Bourne and Stewart will do the face-off this time to the left of Eddie Jockerman. 2:11 to go in the second period. Face-off won by the Islanders. Bossy tries to find an open shooter. They'll go to Potvin. Denny with a wrister. Jockerman gives up the rebound. Bossy's got it. Bossy. Give and go with Bob Bourne. Deflected, and the Rangers clear it. Good deflection by Brown, and the Islanders couldn't do anything with it. Islanders change. Lewis over to Merrick. Merrick to Dave Lewis, who's just going to shoot. Closing seconds of the second period. Lewis shoots. Jockerman gives up the rebound. Burt Marshall gets it. The power play is still going on. Eddie, both goalies, by the way, standing on their heads. Pass to Nystrom. Nystrom with a shot. Blocked by Park. That will do it for the power play. The Islanders get it stoned. 35 seconds to go. Nevin trying to put some pressure on. Irvine poked away by Lorimer. 10 seconds to go. Islanders will clear it, and that will do. An action-packed second period here on the island, and after 40 minutes, it's the New York Islanders 2, the Rangers nothing. We'll be back with the third period right after this. Well, the second period, only the one goal. Lauren Henning, of all things. Even strength from Couture that was following power play. Both teams are not doing well. The Rangers on the power play 0 for 5, and the Islanders 0 for 4. lots of people on Santa's naughty list. We've had 2 4-minute power plays. Danny Potvin got 4 minutes for high, sticking at 6:06, and then Teddy Irvine for the Rangers at 15:26, and no scoring on either one of those. Shots 11-10 in favor of the Rangers in the period. In the game, 25-23 in favor of the Islanders. Islanders have won 23 of 37 faceoffs, and the Rangers have delivered the game's only hit. So how you doing, Tag? Nice to see you. So 20 minutes left. Now remember, I don't know if we have overtime set up for this or not. So if not, you gotta win to be king of the hill. If you kiss your sister, mwah, then the Islanders will move on to face a team of Andy's liking. Rattel and Goring on the face-off. Okay, serious question from someone who knows nothing about hockey. Why does hockey have 4 periods? I don't know. I don't know if Gardner's still here or not. You would think it'd be, you want the hour. Actually, there used to be an 80-minute game. Why you do 3:20s as opposed to 4:15s? I would think it would have to do with maintaining the ice. That's just a guess. Goring and Rattel on the face-off. Face-off won by the Islanders, Sutter. And Howard and Nielsen get into it immediately, and they both get 2 minutes for putting candy corn in stockings. So Howard in his 176 penalty minutes, and Jim Nielsen, not Roger. So it'll be 5-on-5. Face off in the Ranger zone. Rattel versus Trottier on the face off. Hatfield will take it. Rattel is removed. Rangers win it. Park to center and loses it. Tonelli will skate it in over to Trotz. Trotz to Bossy. Bossy's going to shoot from the outside. Bossy didn't want to penetrate. Tonelli there for a deflection. Giacomin stands tall, makes the glove save. We'll do it again. 18:37 to go in the game. 53 seconds left on the matching minors. Tonelli and Tkachuk on the face-off. That is a good question. Tonelli and Tkachuk on the face-off. Won by the Islanders. Bossy has it. Feeds Trotz. Cross ice. Trottier. Slapper. Tonelli and Giacomin trying to battle together. Trottier shoots. Giacomin gives up the rebound. Steers it towards the Rangers. Only to center. And now Rolf has it the other way. Rangers have a good rush. And Tonelli gets called for the hold. And the Rangers go on the power play. So the matching minors were done. 17:24 to go. And the Islanders are going to try and kill their 6th power play of the game. Kallur and Henning are the forwards for the Islanders. It'll be Hart and Marshall on defense. For the Rangers, Tkachuk, Nevin, and Ballon, Balon, with Park and Brown, the defensemen. Tkachuk and Henning on the face-off, won by the Rangers. Tkachuk to Ballon. I've pronounced this 19,000 different ways. How do I pronounce it, Barb? Shot. Chico gives up the rebound. Nevin's got it. Nevin over it, feeds Park. Park a quick shot. Blocked by Marshall to Jerry Hart. And Hart clears it all the way down. And the first half of this power play is done. Goring and Bourne come on for the Islanders. Rattel has it for the Rangers. Over to Hadfield. Hadfield fires one at Resch. Blocked by Goring behind the net. Hadfield scoops it out. Over to Brown. Marshall and Resch are there. Marshall hurts himself with a block. Ends up with the puck. Sends it all the way down. And now Hart and Park have a few words. And the face-off actually will now be in the Ranger zone with 15:38 to go. Harris and Kaczynski with Potvin and Persson for the Islanders. Rangers only one shot on this power play. Rattel, Gilbert, and Hadfield, the forwards. The Rangers now being outshot 28-24. No one's answered Todd's question. I'm surprised. Kaczynski and Rattel on the face-off. Won by Rattel. Quickly up the ice. Gilbert. Give and go with Nielsen. Gilbert. Chico is the man again. He is 25 for 25 tonight. Islanders clear it all the way down. Tonelli back on the ice. 15:24 to go. Islanders have it at center. Fresh skaters. Couture to Lormer. Nystrom misplays it. Let's see if the Rangers can take advantage. Marshall the other way. Into the Islander zone. Marshall to Nevin. Back to Marshall. Chico again. Gives it to Couture. 14:03 to go. Fort Never Lose is living up to its name. Couture. Across center in the Ranger zone. Couture to Nystrom. No one really open. Islanders will cycle the puck. Nystrom still got it. He'll feed Kenny Morrow. Morrow, long shot. Easy save for Jacquemin. To Nielsen. To Sealing. Rangers want to change. Islanders want to change. Ab DeMarco has the puck. 13:11 to go. Hadfield into the zone. Rolf and Hart have a few words. Hart gets called for a penalty. Not a huge surprise at that. And the Rangers go on their 8th power play of the game. So Trotz and Westfall out there as the forwards for the Islanders. Potvin and Person the defense. Tkachuk, Ballon, Nevin, Park, and Brown for the Rangers. Barb thinks it has to do with fatigue. 320s as opposed to 415s. So Tkachuk and Trotz, 12:51 to go. Islanders 2, Rangers nothing. Face-off won by the Rangers. Nevin behind the net, feeds Park. Park looking to break through. Tkachuk is the scores! Tkachuk did his job. Park put it over Rex's shoulder. Brad Park deflected it. That was all Brad Park. And the Rangers have made this a one-goal game with 12:38 to go. So Nevin with the initial shot, or Park with the shot, slapped it by him on the good pass from Nevin, and that will finally get the Rangers on the board. I don't know why Brad Park doesn't have a picture. So 12:38 to go, and it's a one-goal game. So the Rangers now 1 for 7 on the power play. But that's a biggie. Rattel and Trottier on the faceoff. Faceoff won by the Islanders, and there's immediately a power play coming up for the Islanders. Bossy has the puck. They'll take their time. Gillies is out there, no goalie. Bossy feeds Gillies outside. Gillies, the extra skater, shoots. That is blocked. And Hadfield gets called for the rough. Emile Francis is out there giving Pierre Shampoo a whole conditioner full of mouthfuls. And so the Islanders will set it up. Henning out there to start with Kaczynski and Harris. Westfall and Jerry Hart. Stewart, Fairburn, DeMarco, and Rolf. So the Rangers, their momentum lasted all of 30 seconds? 12:03 to go. 2-1 Islanders. Face off in the Ranger zone. Won by Lauren Henning. Henning skates it behind the net. Can't find anybody open. To cycle it to Kaczynski. Kaczynski looks around. Cross ice pass to Billy Harris. Harris fires one. Jockerman gives up the rebound. Great save by Eddie. Koziski has got it. Feeds Jerry Hart for a long-range shot. Hart in traffic with Henning right there. And Jockerman again makes a great save. Can't blame the goalies on this one. Both of them have stood on their respective heads. The first 30 seconds, the Islanders with 2 shots. Bourne, Trottier, and Bossy, the forwards. Fairburn, Stewart for the Rangers. Nielsen and Brown, the defenders. Potvin and Person, who hasn't played all that much, on the ice on the Islander blue line. Trottier wins the faceoff over to Bossy. Bossy behind the net. Feeds cross-ice pass to Potvin. Trottier there to deflect. And Eddie just makes the glove save, and we'll do it again. 1:01 to go. 11:04 to go in the game. Islanders 2, Rangers 1. Bourne and Trottier and Stewart on the faceoff. Oh, it's Bourne. Pardon me. And then it's won by the Rangers. Bossy. One-timer. Jockerman again. And quietly from the upper decks here at the Coliseum, you hear, Eddie, Eddie. So Bourne and Stewart, Islanders 4 shots on this power play. Bourne and Stewart on the faceoff. One again by the Islanders. Trottier behind the net. Over to Potvin. Denny with Bossy trying to tip it in. Can't do it. Bossy's got the rebound. Bossy on a wraparound. Tries to slide it under Eddie's pad. Jockerman with a save. Again, Bossy behind the net. Cross ice to Trottier. Trottier with a wrister blocked by Brown. Power play coming is over. Rangers kill it. 10:03 to go. Islanders change up. Rattel into the Islander zone. Rattel stolen by Bobby Nystrom. Oh, my word. I appreciate that. I bet the wifey and I played Cocoa Bump. I didn't mean to. Nystrom to Kallur. Back over to Bobby Nystrom. Nystrom through traffic. Misses it wide right. Brown's got it. Rangers will change. 9:13 to go. Brown. Now to Gilbert. Gilbert at center, and he loses it. Hatfield. Now Nystrom will just dump it around. Rangers reestablish. Islanders change. Sealing for the Rangers. They trail it 2-1. And Sealing came across as offside. 8:07 to go. And we got a face-off. Islanders 2, Rangers 1. 8:07 left. Tkachuk, Fairburn, and however you say it, on for the Rangers. Third line on for the Islanders. Yeah, that would be Scott Norwood wide right. Bourne and Tkachuk on the faceoff. Won by the Islanders. Koziski over the line. Big if they can score here. Rangers trying to trap him down. And he scores! They couldn't close down fast enough. And Mike Koziski gets the goal. It's a 2-goal game again. 7:42 to go. Billy Harris and Dave Langevin with the assists. They have peppered Eddie Jockerman with 36 shots. And Koziski going to force the Rangers now to play hard the rest of it. Goring and Rattel out there for the face-off at center. It is won by the Islanders. Here comes Sutter over to Langevin. Sutter trying to play the pick. And Eddie saw it, gives it to Brown. Rangers the other way. Gilbert, they need to put some pressure on. Brown slaps it. Chico kicks it with a kick save and a butte. Over to Jerry Howitt. Howitt skates it out. 6:52 to go. Can't keep it out, though. Rattel back in the zone. Rattel tries to slide one under Chico. Nope. Howitt and Brown have a few words, and that gives Chico enough time to get his bearings back. 6:23 to go. First line out for the Islanders, McGregor, Bobby Russo, and Glenn Sather on the ice for the Rangers. McGregor and Trottier on the faceoff, won by the Islanders. Only to center. McGregor the other way, over to Sather. Sather behind the net, going to try a wrap around himself. And Chico with an easy save. Sather has it behind the net again. Sather loses the puck to Denny Potvin. 5:22 to go. 3-2 or 3-1 Islanders. Potvin gives it away. Rousseau by the net. Over to Park. One-timer. Chico is the man again. 4:55 to go. 37-31. Shots now in favor of the Islanders. Tkachuk and Kallur on the faceoff. It is won by the Rangers. DeMarco has got it. Ab fires it, misses wide right, and out of play. So again, everyone gets to suck in some oxygen. 4:20 to go. Morris Johnson. Yep, Bobby, he did just pass away. Remember, these are a 5-year slice, so it's not one Ranger team and one Islander team. It's a best over a 5-year period. Thanks to Steve Tate and all the work he does for the Action PC community. It'll be Rattel and Kallur on the faceoff with Hatfield and Gilbert. Brad Park has a lone Ranger goal. Face-off to the left of or the right of Resch, won by the Rangers. Sealing with a slapper. As soon as the button is hit, Chico says, "I'll take it." Nystrom and Hatfield wish each other a happy holidays. And now we'll have a face-off to the left of Chico Resch. Again, Kallur and Tkachuk. Islanders have won 62% of the face-offs in this one. And they'll win this one again as Nystrom will skate it out. Kallur. Kallur now in the zone. Kallur gets the feed from Gillies. Jacquemin with an easy save. And the face-off now will be to the left of Eddie Jacquemin. Bourne, Kaczynski, and Harris on the ice for the Islanders. Rattel, Hatfield, and Gilbert. 3:47 to go here in the hockey game. Rattel and Bourne on the face-off. That'll be won by the Rangers. Hatfield skates it in the zone. Over to Rattel. Chico gives up the rebound. Sealing has it. Can they get anything with it? Sealing feeds Rattel. Rattel, one-timer. Chico was there. Kaczynski's got it. And the Islanders will skate it out. Or they hope to. 3:13 to go. They clear it out to center ice. Sealing over to Hatfield. They give it on the giveaway. No, Harris took it off Hatfield's stick. 2:29 to go. Islanders change up. Goring recovers it on the dump and chase. Fires it in, blocked by Sealing to Tkachuk. Rangers trying to pressure. 2:13 to go. Ballone gives it away to Langevin. 1:39 to go. Fort Never Lose stands as one. Langevin's got it. Rink wide to Sutter. Sutter, 1:23 to go. They will be offensive here to Goring. Jacquemin's going to have to come out in a minute. Sutter will shoot it. Park wouldn't let him through. Sutter goes high. Jacquemin makes the save. Rangers with 1:03 to go. Call time. So it'll be Trottier and Rattel on the face-off. Everyone has their top skaters out there with 1:03 to go. Face-off won by the Rangers with a minute to go. They need to pressure. Rattel in the zone. Jockman to the bench. Rattel. They need two here. They don't get the first one. Rebound over to Nielsen. Feeds Tkachuk. Cross ice. Gilbert is there, and Chico holds on. 39-36. The Rangers trail by 3 shots. Tonelli and Rattel, 41 2/10 on the clock. Islanders will try to fire the empty net goal. Gilbert to Tkachuk, who is the extra skater for the Rangers. Winds and fires, rebound, controlled by the Rangers. Nielsen this time. Nielsen, 29 to go. Hadfield tried to poke it in, and Resch just covered it up. So Rattel and Tonelli, again, Tkachuk the extra skater. The Ranger net is empty. The crowd here on the island is going crazy. Face-off won by the Rangers. Rattel to Nielsen. Rattel and tries to interfere with Resch. Nielsen shoots. Chico gives that one up. Rebound controlled by Hadfield. Hadfield tries to wrap it around on Chico and can't do it. Rebound to Hadfield. 19 seconds to go. Nielsen long shot. Deflected, controlled by Brown. Rangers are doing a great job here, but can't get past the wall. Brown, 12 seconds to go. Chico covers it up. Miska Muska Musketeer. Wow, what a finish. Rattel and Trottier with 12 seconds to go. This has been a good choice, Barb. So the Islanders 12 seconds away from advancing to day 2 of our King of the Hill. Trottier and Rattel on the face-off, won by the Islanders, and that will do it. The Rangers outshot the Islanders in the third period 19-14 and finally scored on the power play. The 3 stars, of course. Well, Lauren Henning, for goodness sakes, scored a goal for the Islanders. He's your 3rd star. Kaczynski with a goal and an assist is your number 2 star. And Chico Resch, who stopped 41 of 42 shots, is your number 1 star. Third period scoring, Brad Park, the lone power play goal from Nevin and Ballon at 7:22, and then Kaczynski from Harris and Langevin put the game away for the Islanders at 12:18. Relatively mild-mannered third period. Nielsen and Howard got into it. Then Jerry Hart does what Jerry Hart does best, and then Hadfield with a roughing call. But the Islanders couldn't take advantage. Jockman had a pretty good game himself. Can't really blame that one on him. Those are the Ranger stats. Rattel, Brown, Park, and Nielsen all with multiple shots. Rangers had 2 hits, both Vic Hadfield. And they blocked 10 shots. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Islanders, Mike Bossy had 10 scoring chances, but Jockman stopped them all. Bossy also gave it away 5 times. And Lormer with 4 blocked shots. How stacked is this team? Wayne Merrick was only on the ice for 1:13. So there you have it. The 77-81 Islanders are the King of the Hill. And Mr. Andy Pekowski and I will figure out who Andy wants them to play. And we'll be with you tomorrow at noon Eastern for day 2 of our 4-stream extravaganza. But for at least one night, the New York Islanders of the Stanley Cup variety. You want the Flyers? You want to see? Okay. Islanders win this one 3-1. It's your call. All right, so we'll let you know right now what we're going to do. That was fun. You're welcome, Barb. So the Islander teams that you have, uh, 07 to a modern team, the Broad Street Bullies, LeClaire and Lindros from the late 90s and the early 80s. So that's what you want for the, again, it's up to you. For the Bruins, it's 9-13, 37-41. The Orr Esposito thing, and the Neely Bork. You want the Broad Street Bullies. Oh, so tomorrow from Uniondale, it'll be the Broad Street Bullies and the Islanders. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow for night 2 of our Christmas special. Until then, have yourself a wonderful day, everybody. So long. Soon as I can see my damn house.